Hello! I'm a Vocable Object 4, and I'm going to be playing Katawa Shoujo with, yeah, adult content is disabled. So, that's the idea, because I don't feel like editing. Double check. Yeah. Alright. Full disclosure, I have seen two of the routes. Lily's and Emmys. So logically, I'm gonna be going for a different character. Alright. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden chimes. This is a particular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing from this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more a fan of letter in the locker. At least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Hisao? You came. A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more of an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Awanako? I got a note telling me to wait here. It was you? Darn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result? Pathetic. Yes, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle, even if I tried. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out of my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Awanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I wanted to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try to massage my throat, but this only sends spites of blinding pain upon my arms. Hisao? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Awanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last things I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Awanako screaming for help and the insistent clatter of the branches above. Well, I don't remember this opening, which made sense. Haven't seen this game other than like memes, which it's got some pretty good memes. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. And that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital unsupervised on one hand. And let the music be a little bit louder. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. Strange word, a foreign alien one that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Awanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. Unless they let you paint the walls and redecorate. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them. That makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So, I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time. Think of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shovels around the answer shows that there's at least some hope. At some point I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading. I think I even became a bit addicted. Started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. Felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance that I had set for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceilings as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely. So as you can see, this is a pretty extensive, kind of depressing story. It gets less depressing when it gets to the Uh, when we get out of the hospital eventually. I couldn't even cry. Today the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some sort of special occasion? It's not a party. There is this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Golly. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hisao. How are you doing today? I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I agree. Lot more than medicine I have, but golly. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Yes, it is. Golly, that is a lot. Side effects, adverse effects, contraindications, and dosages are all listed line after line with cold precision. Because you can't miss a single day. I tried to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. Tempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day. I'm afraid that this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken with your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts, designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise the fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, it's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. Looks like I don't really have a choice. I mean, what would my character even do? What would Hisao do if he just said, "No, I don't want to go"? Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. Oh, that's nice. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school. And while it's not the same one, the one where you even got a love letter, special school, that's an insult. That's why I want to say it's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. I mean, that's a route. A route I'm not taking. So, it's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. Excuse me while I go get water. Golly. I swear I have the roughest sounding voice ever. One of my colleagues at another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? Normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I always thought my life was actually kind of boring. But now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something about how I can go back to school anyway, but no. I don't say anything. The fact is, I know it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. I mean, there's always the chance that you might find the love of your life, not like this is the point of the game or anything. That's assuming that I actually make the right choices, though. Oh, golly. At least I know that, Emmy's route is most likely the hardest one. Most likely. But let me try. Clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. Act 1. Life Expectancy. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was like. Means they spent some good money on this school. It's gonna be... In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. It is a pretty nice looking gate. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I was stuck on this gate thing. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yumako Academy with this brisk pace. I was alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to my dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. Golly. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have. More like a park with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. Makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. This is your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. Few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told that this is my new school, in the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. Well, maybe everyone's in their dorms or are actually in class. It makes me wish there was someone here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind, and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. It makes me think about hospitals again, how they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a common color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Maybe it looks more like a college campus than like a high school. Maybe that's what you're feeling. Or like more like an academy or something like that. Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life to return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous with this realization set in my head, I opened the front door. Well, you can do whatever you want. You could bolt. I wouldn't recommend bolting for it, but you could always do that. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Niki? Nakai. Oh, Isao Nakai. Huh. Didn't know that. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Mutu. I'm totally botching his name. I probably am. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asks for you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Why? What are you talking about? Why? Of course you have to introduce yourself to the class. You know, don't be a stick in the mud. Actually introduce yourself. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. There are some students that straight up. No, it's still pretty standard. Of course, but not everyone likes to be the center of attention. Well, I don't either, but I'm still gonna introduce myself. I'm probably one of those people. I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. See, that's good. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher upstairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Oh. Is that just for the floor and height, or do you have like the grades separated by that? Because it would be interesting to know. I mean, I think we're a third year. I think so. I might be wrong. Mutau? To Motu? Mutu? I really don't know how to pronounce his name. If anyone gets me hints, it would be very much appreciated. And oh golly, I forgot about that art piece in the background. Oh golly, I'm gonna be seeing that a lot. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point to worrying about so much about it. At least, not this soon. You know. Okay. I recognize 3 of those people. So, it's nice to see you. Or at least I think I recognize 3 of those people. I might be wrong. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's lots of space left over around and in between the desk. I don't know about you, but I'm not seeing it. An entire wall taken up by blackboards and the high old fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames, simple and efficient, you know, pretty cheap. Okay, probably not actually cheap, even though they probably should be cheap. Stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look like normal, like students in any other school. But then, why would they be here? Well, you probably look the same to them. You probably just look like some normal kid. They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not immediately obvious. Then I notice one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Oh, okay, that's more people in our class that I recognize. I would totally watch a Katawa Shoujo anime. Just saying. I would totally watch that. That'd be awesome. And I am curious if I actually. That would be a little funny if I just kept on turning until I'm just looking at the teacher, just like, what should I say? Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long straight hair that's pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if to make her invisible. There's only one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. Golly, I'm glad my voice sounds like the beautiful sound of music, operatic beauty that it always is. She's kind of cute. So is the cheery looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row who has only one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing and thanks for this applause I did not deserve. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao Nakai, and after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. No, maybe I should have chose why, but then I probably wouldn't have said anything in the first place. Everyone seemed satisfied, even with what little I said, though. Few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. Could have gone worse. See, you already have girls potentially crushing on you. Everything's gonna go fine. Okay. How in the world do I save this game? Because I do need to stop this playthrough. Yes. Right here. Escape. I just need to remember that. Save. create that new save. Okay, that's really adorable. uh, let's see. Save, yeah. Oh, that's adorable too. Golly. Okay, everything's saved. Awesome. Oh, show image. And Ted's sister. I'm probably kind of need those. Either way, we're at 40 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Uh, golly. I'm probably good against my slightly better judgment. I'm probably going to try to go for all the endings. So that means I am going to have to make a lot of save slots. Probably. I don't even know what this game's limit as far as save slots goes. Hopefully it can fit a lot. That way I don't have to backtrack. And luckily there'll be like timestamps. Hopefully I can do this in a better order or whatever. But yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.